From the pages of Wrestling Monthly, March 1972. A wild ride through the golden age of wrestling. Step into the time machine, wrestling fans, before high-flying cruiserweights, before steel cage pay-per-views, and before every wrestler had entrance pyro like they were headlining a Kiss concert. There was the gritty, no-nonsense world of 1972 professional wrestling. Wrestling in the 70s was a glorious mix of brawlers, technical masters, and absolute lunatics, all crammed into smoky arenas filled with screaming fans. This issue of Wrestling Monthly captures that magic with stories about unstoppable tag teams, terrifying villains, and promotional wars that made Detroit look like a battlefield. And because no vintage wrestling magazine is complete without it, we've got some of the most absurd advertisements ever printed, including miracle muscle builders, deadly karate secrets, and possibly the worst weight gain formula in human history. So lace up those boots, grab a folding chair, and let's dive into this classic issue of Wrestling Monthly. Who can stop Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens? This feature dives into the dominance of Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens, a tag team that makes modern-day villains look like kindergartners. These two master manipulators have been running roughshod over the American Wrestling Alliance, humiliating everyone from hometown heroes to world-traveled veterans. Bockwinkel, the smooth-talking technician, can counter almost any move and talk his way out of trouble with promoters. Stevens, the brawling wild man, does all the dirty work, ensuring every opponent leaves the ring questioning their career choices. Their biggest rival right now? Paul Diamond, who got completely wrecked in a match that left fans gasping in horror. Will anyone step up to stop them, or will Bockwinkel and Stevens continue their reign of terror, crushing challengers and cashing paychecks? Bruno Hercules Beccar, the next big thing? Meet Bruno Hercules Beccar, a bodybuilder turned wrestler with muscles so massive that they probably deserve their own zip code. He once suffered from asthma as a child but overcame it by training until he looked like a living Greek statue. His travels have taken him to Australia, Singapore, and beyond, where he's already clashed with the likes of Killer Kowalski, Jack Briscoe, and Ivan Koloff. In Singapore, one of his matches literally caused a riot. Police had to break it up. Beccar is strong, fearless, and more determined than ever. But the big question is, will his incredible strength be enough to take on the world's best? The Vachons, wrestling's first family of violence. Every sport has family dynasties. In basketball, it's the Curry family. In football, the Mannings. In wrestling, it's the Vachons. Maurice Mad Dog Vachon, former Olympian who traded gold medals for gold teeth after too many barroom brawls. Paul the Butcher Vachon, a 6'4" bruiser who once made an opponent cry just by looking at him. Vivienne Vachon, one of the most talented and ruthless women's wrestlers of all time. The Vachons have dominated every promotion they've ever entered, and they have zero plans of stopping. Would you fight a Vachon? No? Smart choice. Ivan Putski, the Polish powerhouse. Want to see a guy bench press a truck and then suplex someone through the mat? Meet Ivan Putski, a beast of a man whose superhuman strength is the talk of the wrestling world. He lets fans punch him in the stomach before matches. No one has ever made him flinch. His partnership with Cowboy Bill Watts has led to some of the most explosive tag team battles in recent history. He's setting his sights on championship gold, and with his pure brute force, nobody can stop him. Unless your name is Gorilla with a Crowbar, you probably don't want to mess with Putski. Detroit's Wrestling War. NWA versus WWA. Detroit has turned into the wrestling equivalent of a street fight, with two major promotions battling for total domination. The NWA, led by Francis Flezer, boasts Bobo Brazil, The Sheik, and Curtis Iokea. The WWA, run by Lou Marutis, has Dick the Bruiser, Baron von Raschke, and Bobby Heenan. Both promotions are throwing everything at this war. Big matches, TV deals, and superstars from all over the country. Who wins? The fans, the wildest ads, because wrestling magazines never disappoint. The 007 Power Twister promises instant muscles with a chrome-plated steel device, guarantees 2 inches of muscle gain in 3 days. Refund policy? Only if you act fast. Killer Karate Crusher claims to turn your hands into weapons of mass destruction, advertises secret Japanese killer cult training methods. Comes with a free Deadly Art of Hand Fighting book, ensuring you will become an unstoppable terror fighter. Crash Weight Formula Number 7 promises 14 pounds of muscle in 14 days. The before and after photos are so fake, even a blind man could spot the editing. Uses the phrase, "Nobody likes a bag of bones," in a bold attempt to shame skinny guys into buying it. Final thoughts. 70s wrestling was absolutely wild. What did we learn from this issue? Bockwinkel and Stevens are destroying the AWA. The Vachons could probably beat up an entire football team. Even Putski might be an actual superhero. Detroit's wrestling scene is in an all-out war. The ads in this magazine are completely unhinged, and that's exactly why we love wrestling history. If you had fun reliving the chaos, like, share, and subscribe, or else we'll send Mad Dog Vachon after you. And trust us, that's not something you want.